Om Namah Shivaya. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shanti. Asanast fire, way of Dharma. Today, we are discussing a very interesting subject, that of Pranayama, Hatha Yoga, and Yoga Asanas. Stay tuned for a very interesting topic. Before we go further, please continue to subscribe, like, and share. Make sure you hit the notification bell to get future updates. This is a channel whereby you'll get mantras, topics on spirituality, African spirituality, Western esotericism, and spirituality as a whole. So stay tuned. So for today, our topic is Pranayama, Hatha Yoga, and Yoga Asana. Let us go into it. You know the drill? It had to happen this way because the power outage and thing. So let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I have a very interesting friend of mine from over the ocean, far into the east, India. The popular concept of yoga and yoga asanas and hatha yoga in general is that hatha yoga is largely based on the physical things, and you cannot derive any significant spiritual benefits from it, which is false. I'm about to show you an example right now, just to show you that pranayama is very, very important and relevant to a person's spiritual growth. In this video, you will see that as I attempt to do the sitting posture of Siddhasana or half lotus, some might call it half lotus, but I think it's Siddhasana. I like the word Siddhasana. So as you can see, when I attempt the pose on my first attempt, just after sitting down and doing the pose, you'll see that my leg can't rest on my other thigh, basically. My right leg can't rest very well on my other thigh, my left thigh. So it does it protrudes and stands up and can't completely lie down and rest on my left thigh. The question would be, why was it doing that? Okay, the common sense or the common perception would advise us that I'm not a flexible person. I might be physiologically big boned as compared to the yogis that you would see in India performing yoga asanas and stuff. So the common perception would be to assume that I am not flexible enough and I am big boned, and yes, that would be the cause. Let me prove to you something that it is not the case, basically. So now, let me show you something. You see that my right leg is standing up as I hold my breath and then I exhale. Look now, after the breathing, you see now it's resting well on my left thigh. Mhm. Holding my breath, doing a kumbhaka, and then I exhale. Noticed before the first round of the breath of fire, I was my leg was not resting completely on my thigh, basically. Do you know what is the cause of that? It's not the case of flexibility or being big boned. Okay. In Hatha Yoga, we are taught that when prana or energy, life force, circulates around the body, you get to achieve a state of, there's a certain samadhi that you reach, and then after attaining that position, you'll be able to do any and every yogic asanas at ease, because now prana would be circulating all throughout your body, liberating you, and everything will happen automatically. At some point in some stages of samadhi, I think I've had something like that, similar to that in pranayama. There was a point whereby I was breathing, doing, I can't remember how many rounds of this type of breathing. And then after breathing, I then inhale. After inhaling, I hold my breath. I was able to hold my breath for like 2 minutes. Okay. And then in that 2 minutes, there was a time whereby I reached a state of existence. Like I was merely there, you understand? But I couldn't care about my body. I was sort of like numb, but it's something that can't be fully described. But I was in that state whereby I didn't care about anything. I was just existing, and then thought had ceased for a moment, and I was just existing basically. So that's what you get from pranayama. When prana circulates in certain uh, nadis around your body, you are able to accumulate supernatural powers, and you get to reach higher states of consciousness, and certain psychic unfoldments gets unfolded unto you. Then you are basically a working superhuman. Another example would be this of a guy, Wim Hof, from, is he from Russia? I think so. He calls himself the Iceman. This guy can sit in ice, fully immersed in ice for like 3 hours with nothing happening to him. He can control his involuntary processes. You understand? So it's a thing that you get from pranayama. You are able to control your mind to a certain degree, whereby you are able to numb yourself, or rather uh, fortify yourself against the external forces that would be felt by your senses. You can restrict that kind of sensory input, basically. So in this video, as you saw, that my leg was not resting because there wasn't a good circulation of prana. But as soon as I did the breath, prana was then distributed to certain parts of my body where it were otherwise dormant. So after doing that breath, it was distributed to those nadis, and I was able to do the siddhasana simply so. So now let me show you a few more asanas that I was doing. And prior to the asanas, I was doing a Hanuman Dand, which are Hindu push-ups, as you might know. So yes, tune in and watch. Basically, everything is sacred and linked to spirituality in terms of dharma. Dharma is a cosmic law whereby in each and every nation on earth, spirituality, mathematics, religion, and whatever, it was all linked together, and science, because it was one thing basically, which is what? Dharma. Okay. Now these are the asanas that I would recommend. The first one would be the fish pose, Matsyasana. I'll talk about the benefits of these asanas in another video whereby I go in depth about Hatha Yoga. And then I change into the cobra pose. Some might call it the downward dog, but it's a cobra pose. I once did this with my friend, a friend of mine, and then he came out feeling injuries because he said that his back was not used to it. So to my friends in India who take these things for granted because they might be in abundance where you live, you are making a mistake basically, because this is one of the most powerful things that you can use to liberate yourself. You understand? In Egypt, there are such practices, and such practices were practiced even more advanced techniques, but now we can't access the Egyptian spiritual knowledge because it is in another place whereby it is locked up. So in Hinduism is where you will get most of the texts that were recorded, and they didn't take all of them. You understand? So this one is the Shirshasana, the head stand. You understand? Uh-huh. So you notice what I go on over here. Uh, it's it defies logic to see someone of big bones, someone of a clumsy looking body, basically, being able to do this. This is the secret behind doing all yoga asanas. Is what? The circulation of prana, circulation and distribution of prana. You understand? So I will go in depth more about Hatha Yoga, Pranayama, and all that stuff, and how the asanas activate certain nerves, certain nadis all throughout your body to make sure that those areas get a full supply of prana. Basically, when you are doing pranayama, when you're doing yoga, you are trying to activate all your nadis so that you can get energy flowing in the three major nadis, which are Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Getting those nadis active, you are able to then force prana into Sushumna nadi, and then you are able to reunite Kundalini with Mahadeva over the air, or consciousness. So, Asanist Fire from the way of Dharma. It was good to have you guys. I'm a bit tired, disoriented, but then uh, it's always an honor to talk to you, and I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy these demonstrations, and I hope you derive benefit and maximum nourishment from this. If you decide that you don't want to do any spiritual work for your benefit, it's fine. You understand? It's fine. And if you see no use of these things, it's fine basically. But then I would advise you to do this. I am very new in this spiritual path. This is actually my third year in spirituality. When I look back, so much progress. But if I had started my spiritual path by coming into this yogic tradition and tantra and dharma, I would have achieved way more, because in that short time I was able to do so many impressive things. And by the way, this sitting pose that you see over here, it took me 2 years to actually be able to do this, because now my legs were aching all the time and I couldn't do it with such perfection. As you can see, just beside me, there's a pillow. That's the pillow that I used to use. Understand? So that's also another way to see if a person knows what they're doing, or a person is a frequent meditator, or a person who's always doing sadhana in that posture. If you can see a person doing a cross-legged pose, and then you see their legs raising up high, then you know that this person isn't used to any meditation, and that person is a false guru. You understand? Because when you do such exercises, you are able to derive benefits from it, and over time you get a circulation of prana, and then you get used to it, and just from that sitting posture you can avoid so many ailments. And I'll talk about it in my Hatha Yoga Pradipika video. So much power in Sanatana Dharma. I'm grateful to Mahadeva, grateful to Mahakali, grateful to the Almighty One Ganesha, grateful to the almighty works of me practicing sadhana, and I'm grateful to my ancestors. Like, I'm grateful to have come across this knowledge, because now I can see potential and power. Asanist fire, way of dharma, Om Namah Shivaya. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.